Well, the damage issue is related to not having the roads clearly marked so that people can see where they're allowed to drive, and not having very much enforcement. People just assume that they can go anywhere they want, and they have a tendency to want to test their off-road skills out here. And so by driving off-road and trampling over all the vegetation, it creates eroded, muddy areas that the silt goes into the ocean and the vegetation can't grow. And so over time, the place has just gotten more and more degraded. So December 1st, the gate will be closed, and anyone wishing to come into this area with their vehicle will need to get a permit from state parks. The permit will come with a decal that you'll put on the back side of your vehicle on the bumper, and you'll get a combination. The combination will be changed every week, and you'll get updates with the combination change. And so with the issuance of the permits, there'll be special terms and conditions that will clearly outline what you're allowed to do and where you're allowed to do those things. And it'll also come with maps of all the designated roads. And so by signing the permit, you're signing that you acknowledge and understand what the rules are. And if you're caught violating those rules, then your permit can be revoked and you won't be allowed to come into the area. So we're really hoping that by regulating the vehicular access of this area, the next step will be for us to start with restoration efforts and implementing erosion control methods, revegetating the eroded bare soil, and really making this place a world-class state park. Kamehameha Schools has been coming out here for years, participating in some ecosystem restoration projects, outplanting common native and actually some endangered plants. And they've had limited success because the environment's so harsh, and so we tried a new system with this windbreak to try to increase our outplanting success. And so the kids all came out last week and planted all these beautiful plants, and last weekend someone came out and built a fire right in the middle of it. And it's really disappointing that people don't have more awareness about the environment, about what kinds of efforts we're trying to do to improve things, and they just have a lack of understanding and appreciation for the natural resources out here. And what comes to my mind is that we really need to do a better job at outreach and education of people so that they do have that appreciation and choose not to do things like this. There's a strong desire from the community to have this be a wild place, to have it be someplace where you can escape development, just escape regulation, just have a place where you can go out and experience nature and enjoy it. But the problem is that there's so many people now that it's the tragedy of the commons, and so we really need to increase our management in order to do the job that we need to in order to manage the resources the way we should. Our mandate is to manage natural resources for the people of Hawaii, and right now they're not being managed the way they should be, and we'd like to do a better job at that. A few years ago, we had a big effort where we designated all of the roads that you're allowed to drive on, and we put in signs with road names and arrows and things like that. Because there's so many unofficial roads, it's really hard to tell where you're allowed to drive, and there was a lot of confusion, understandably, by the public of where they were allowed to go. So we are going to install these whiskers along the designated roads so that people will be able to clearly see where they are supposed to be driving. And then the idea is that when people stop driving in those other areas, we'll be able to do erosion control and revegetation, and the designated roads will be easier to see in the long run, and we'll be able to pull these out because we really don't want these to become marine debris and trash. The permit will be free, and there'll be an unlimited number of permits given. And so anyone who wants to come in here and visit the Natural Area Reserve, go sightseeing, hang out at the beaches, stargaze, fish, whatever, the park will be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, barring any natural disaster. And so everyone will be able to come and enjoy this place the way they always have been, except that the rules will be clearer and we'll be able to better manage the natural resources.